Does anybody not have me in their phone book, in your phone? You know, go ahead. Adam doesn't. My phone number's right there. I need you guys, this needs to be interactive because if you don't participate, this is going to be really boring. Are you ready? You always hear about work. I'm always up here talking about things to, you know, best business practices or how to or whatever. Today, I want to talk about you. And so we're going to talk about bold laws. Who's familiar with bold laws? We have a bold laws wall in the building. Where is it and what color is it? It's purple. Okay, it's up by Cameron's office. If you walk upstairs, it's there. So I picked a couple of my favorites, but I want to talk about it. So first of all, I want you to break out your phones, go to your text message section, please. Break out your phones and go to text message. I want you guys to send me a text, not right now, nothing obscene ever. Okay, but what I'd like you to do is I'm going to throw out some bold laws. I'm going to give you all of 20 seconds. It'll be a countdown in my head. I may count super fast, I may count super slow, but I want your first impression. What did you think when you see the bold law that I pull up? The first one is it's a gimme because I hope that you don't think of yourself, but I promise you someone will come into your head when you see the first one. Are you ready? So, do you have your phones out? You ready to text me? Because I want to share some of this and make sure that they're shareable. All right. You're going to text me your impressions. No, no, no. I don't want to know who you think of because I don't want to be on those lists either. On this one. No, but the first one, I promise you a name will come to mind. But just what are some of your impressions? So we always talk about working on your business or in your business. Today, I want you to work on your business or working on yourself. And so that's where we're going to talk about bold laws. Are you ready? First one, complaining equals garbage magnet. Bold laws in a nutshell are supposed to be universal laws, last throughout the ages. Just curious what some of your thoughts are. That's awesome, Sally. Sally said Oscar the Grouch. I won't tell you most of the time who said it, but that was awesome. All right. But did someone come to mind? And then what impressions do you get though? Do you ever find yourself, because trust me, I'm that guy. And whenever I complain, guess what comes into my life? More garbage. Okay. It's just kind of funny how some of this stuff just shows up in your life. So I got some here. Bad attitudes don't help you succeed. Complain, negativity, bad results. Retract the negative. Ugh, here we go again. I'll pick on Randy Jones, also said Oscar the Grouch. Awesome. Another one brings more garbage. It's crazy how it actually does. Excuses. All that. This one's heavy. Um, Always look for the positive. No one's interested in your complaints. Thank you, because that's definitely true. Karma. I was talking to somebody earlier this morning. Karma is a wicked taskmaster if you believe in karma and all that. And then I love this one. No one likes to be around negative people. All that. Eve, I'm not going to say that one, but thank you. All right. Next bold law. Again, universal truths and all that. So just quickly, what are your impressions? What impressions do you get? Your cells eavesdrop on your thoughts. What comes to mind? Your health follows the talk track in your head. Interesting. You feel like you think. Mind power really can change how you feel, better or worse. Another one, snowball. Thoughts create stress, which hurts my body and makes me think less clearly. Where attention goes, energy flows. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I've heard that somewhere before. That's awesome. You are creating your experience whether you realize it or not. Negative thoughts can affect your health negatively. Great quote, as a man thinketh, so is he. Manifesting an outcome, your body keeps score. Ooh, that one's pretty good. Brain over body. Okay, thank you. Those are awesome. When I read these off, did any of the thoughts come out? Anything show up in there? You're nodding your head. What do you think, Alicia? So we internalize a lot of things and then they tend to show up. I would encourage internalizing good stuff. It's like eat the good stuff so that you get the good stuff on that. Um, Another one just came in. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to step out and be willing to do something. Hmm, interesting. All right, next one. Bold law. If it's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. What's your first impression? It's not in your schedule, it doesn't exist. And true is not an answer. Just saying. These are all kind of true, I hope. Time blocking matters. Hope isn't a strategy. Priorities your true loyalty. Um, I don't remember it. If I don't remember, it didn't happen. Time block. We don't actually have time for everything to just fall into place. I need to do better about keeping a schedule. Schedule your one thing first. There you go. I've heard that before. So keep to a schedule. It's only a pipe dream if it's not on your schedule. If you don't plan to succeed, you plan to fail. Let it be written, so let it be done. Jesus. Okay. This one here says not Shoni. Yeah. And Becca sent a Diana Kokoska reference. All of these are from the original Bold, and so Diana had a lot to do with it. We overestimate our ability to remain in our executive function thinking, so make the choice. I need to read all of it. Make the choice and stick to it. It's a mindset executed with the tool of a calendar. Unimportant things will occupy our time if we don't prioritize and schedule the important ones. That one's pretty awesome. Okay, are you ready for one more? Couple more, I think. Ooh, don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. Quit looking at Instagram. Quit seeing everybody's dream life on Facebook. All right, don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. You can do this too.
I think it's so funny how like you think of kids, you know, or like other people, and you can tell like they're struggling, and you can easily look at them and be like, no, like look at you this way. But for some reason, it's a lot harder for ourselves to look at us in that way.
Yeah. I think the best part about this meeting is it's going to go nice and short, but I appreciate the feedback. I love that. So let's see what some of the things were said. Don't judge a book by its cover. Be someone you can like and respect. Comparison is a thief of joy. Love that. We have no idea of the hard things people are dealing with. Unreal expectations. Another comparison is the thief of joy, social media. Only our reality matters. You will most likely lose in the comparison game. Is it true? You think about it. What was your very best year GCI? And I promise you, there's somebody at Mega Camp that tripled it. So if that's the scoreboard that you care about, who should we really be comparing ourselves to? Should be us. You need to realize that people don't think little about you. They think about you very little. We tend to always, I know my world certainly revolves around me. Okay. But I don't think that's uncommon. I think that we all see the world from our own perspective. Anyway, I like that. But don't compare how you're feeling and go, gosh, their life is perfect when it may not be. There may be other struggles that we don't see. Anyway. Like this one, I'm the captain of my ship. Ahoy. All right. What you focus on expands. What thoughts come to mind? What you focus on expands. I love it when they don't say somebody's typing. You know, it's like, ooh, I'm expecting good stuff. Manifest. Focus on the positive. Plant the seeds. Focus on success and growth. Focusing is half the battle. See, it's the dreams start and then the work is sold separately, right? There's work that goes with it. You're either going to get larger problems or larger solutions. True for good and bad. As a person thinks, so are they. Affirmations. Hard work and consistency leads to positive results. Hopeful that my dreams are coming true. Success happens through small and simple tasks. Success takes time and many steps. What you focus on grows. I'm not going to focus on my middle anymore. Raw land. Focus on how you're managing your journey. Anyway, great comments. I so appreciate that. And, ooh, different one. Clarity is power. Clarity is power. What comes to mind?
No, I'm looking for somebody else to give this to.
Well, I like this first one. Get rid of all the noise. When you're clear about what you want, it's easy to say no to things that don't fit. Love that. It's easy to get where you're going when you have it mapped out. You have to accurately diagnose the problem to shift to solution-based thinking. Knowing is half the battle. And I messed up. Knowing is half the battle. It really removes fear and is empowering to get clear and then find solutions. It's the opposite of confusion, which destroys. Take a breath and a moment before responding or reacting. Another one, details matter. Understand them, and that brings clarity to deals. Is this a different exercise than we've done before? In here, a lot of times I'm kind of pushing you guys a little. And as you go through bold laws and you can find them, there's this tool, I think it's called Goggles. Oh, Google. And if you can look up bold laws, and you'll see all of these. They're all over the internet, but it's kind of fun. Another one here, map for success. You can't hit a target you can't see. And someone threw out a dittos to all of you. So that's awesome. Okay, clarity really is power, though. If you're clear on what you want, you'll take the steps to get there. But being clear on what you want that's the first step. That's the first way towards that success. This is one of my very favorites, and so I put this one up there. The purpose of business is to fund a perfect life. Do you believe that? Now, if you're the business owner, and each of you are a business owner, obviously the purpose of business is to have profit. But you don't care about the profits. It's really about what the profits can be used for, right? Ooh, I like this one. Stop wasting energy on the wrong things. That could go with the last one and this one. Let's go. Not a lot of responses on that one. That's okay. There's one. Be passionate about what you do. Enjoy the job. Money funds freedom. Interesting. I like it. Last one. Whew. Dean, thank you. We've done. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Don't look at anybody else but me. Have you experienced this in your life? Change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Yeah.
A corollary to this, one of the best ones I ever heard was from a book, Body for Life. And it has struck me both at the time and in my experience. Personal fitness does not just change the way that you look, it changes the way that you see.
Personal fitness doesn't change the way you look, but it changes the way you see. Both. Not only changes the way you look. Okay. So let me go back to the phone and see what you guys think. The thoughts you entertain dictate the path you follow. Ooh, I like this one. Clean your lenses. Change the way that you hear it. It says it's on Sally's binder. Yeah. Challenges are opportunities to grow. Life by design. Work hard, play hard. And all. You guys, this has been enlightening for me, just to see what other people think. I love reading through bold laws. There are not as much affirmations. They can be. That's not really the purpose of a bold law. It's just for something to ponder and think, how can I apply this to my personal life and to my business life? Not that they're completely separate and they're not mutually exclusive. There's certainly some intersect. But I hope that you'll make some changes. You don't have to make monstrous changes. I heard it said in a podcast I was listening to yesterday that if you made a 1% change, a 0.5% change in 20 things, you would increase your productivity by 10%. 0.5% change to the positive in 20 different things, just a little incremental change. It's incrementalism, right? You could have a huge impact. The podcasters were talking about a particular bicycle team, I want to say from Great Britain, and they're a racing team, did Tour de France stuff, and it was like, let's get all of the dust out of our trailer so that we don't get dust on our chains and on our gear sprockets. We'll be able to go just a little bit faster. We're going to put different kinds of oil on our rims and our wheels so that we have nothing sticking to them. And again, more slippage through the air. We're all going to work on getting better sleep, not more sleep, better sleep, deeper sleep. So we don't have to go and have 12 hours of sleep. In fact, if you do 12 hours of sleep, you'll find yourself groggy. But they talked about all these incremental changes, but it pushed them to be the best in the world because of it. Anyway, change the way you look at things. The things we look at change. Guys, I promise you, in this business, I've said it hundreds of times. This business would be so easy if we didn't have to deal with people. But we get to every day. And you have a perspective. And for you, it may be correct, but it may not be the right perspective for someone else. Or they may see the world a little bit differently. And so it's that, going back to those Covey principles, seek first to understand and then be understood. Some of those principles, as you throw them out, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Someone said, oh my gosh, it was a terrible thing. Doing my darndest not to mix church and state. There was a great building that was built up in the Salt Lake Valley, and for political reasons, they ended up burying the foundation. They put it together. They spent months laying a foundation for a great building. Because of governmental reasons, they ended up burying that foundation. They didn't want it to be found. After things were resolved, they uncovered the foundation and found that a large portion of it had cracked. It was an unsound foundation. And so they had to replace it, and they replaced it with granite and redid it. So what you might even think was a great setback, because they had to bury the foundation, that activity actually caused the original foundation to crack. And so by putting in a different foundation, a stronger foundation, they had a building that lasted for many, many decades, for a century plus. Anyway, fun things, change the way you look at things to look at change. That's all I have for today. We appreciate your being here, but work on yourself and your business. That's all I got.